evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's game. We're about to do the national anthem. The flag is down on the south end of the field. If you would please turn and face that way. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's starting lineups. Starting with the Rangers. Number 2, Madison Hager. Number 3, Marley Smith. Number 6, Darby Pittman. 7, Hannah Pitts. 9, Hannah Dow. 8, Saskia Adrian. 11, Taylor Coops. 13, Aaliyah Sibrat. 14, Kate Baggett. 15, Maisie Mathers. 17, Tyler Ray Malloy. 24, Allie Baumhauer. 25, Avery Howell. 26, Ann Baumhauer. 12, Cassidy Arsenet. 22, Destiny Hammock. In goal, Ella Hunkin. 18, Courtney Schultz. 23, Hannah Shankman. 10, Megan Snyder. And 16, Gracie Wilkins. Those are your Rangers for tonight. The starting 11 for Pensacola will be 20, Hannah Godfrey. 21, Deanna Green. 11, Naomi Guerra. 16, Sylvia Leonesi. 2, Brianna Morris. 6, Elisa Muir. 4, Celine Rump. 5, Heidi Ruth. In goal, Catherine Shield. 7, Ana Paula Sylvia Santos. And 9, Alex Thomas. Those are your Pensacola starters. Ladies and gentlemen, give them both a big round of applause. It's a gorgeous night. The weather gods have smiled on us again. We've got a beautiful night for soccer. The referees for this evening are Jason Pate, Walter Bracewell, Wes Collins, and Frank Jones. While we're talking about referees, I will gently remind you that no ref has ever changed the call because we were screaming at him. Let's show some sportsmanship. Let's support both teams. Don't be afraid to cheer for the defenders. They don't get any love. Don't be afraid to cheer for the other team if it's a great play. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out here to have fun and watch some fantastic soccer. While we're waiting for kick, let's recognize the coaches for tonight. Pensacola's coaches are David Kemp, Dean Logan, and Jason Providence. Coaching the Rangers is Michelle Dowse, Gerardo Flores, Madeline Hanna, and Scott Hanna. Big hand for the coaches. And let's not forget to give a round of applause to the ball girls. That's a tough job out there. Thank you, girls. All right, kids, we're about ready to roll. Give yourselves a big hand for showing up on a gorgeous night, braving the weather. It'll be a throw-in for the Rangers. Going to go out, it'll be a throw-in for Pensacola. Another throw for Pensacola. And now I want to go back to the Rangers.
Get there, come on, move!
That's just a little much over the end line to be a goal kick for Rangers. Catherine Shield in the goal for the Rangers. And if I mispronounce a name, please feel free to come up and correct me. Another throw for the Rangers. One more time, just a little much on the far side there. That'll be another goal kick for the Rangers. It's Taylor Kooks over there taking the throw in. Some great defense by the Rangers. Catherine Shield picks up the ball again. Hannah Dallas working hard in the center field. It's going to be a penalty just outside the 18. That's going to go for Pensacola. I've had my goalkeepers mixed up. I apologize. That's Ella Hunkin in the goal for the Rangers. And Paula Silvia Santos makes the shot. It's just wide, hits the side net. Be a goal kick. Once again, that's Ella Hunkin in the goal for the Rangers. I apologize for that. We've got a penalty called back here at the point of that play. We go Pensacola's way. And Paula Silvia Santos takes the kick again. Up and over, nice shot though. Be a goal kick for Rangers. Rangers up it out. It'll be a throw in for Pensacola. That's Sylvia Leonesi making the throw. That throw goes Pensacola's way. And the lineman calls for a corner there. It'll be a corner for Pensacola. And Paula Silvia Santos to make the kick. And that finds its way into the top corner. I'm not sure who bumped it in, but there's one for Pensacola.
Hi, Rangers, get it back! Down.
Apparently there's a foul in the box. Brianna Morris will take the kick. Let's give Ella some love, see if we can give her some support here. Extra stop. How about that? Big hand for Ella. Way to go. Nice save. We've got another foul just outside the box over there. Kate Baggett will be subbing out. Looks like maybe an injury. I think Cassie Dartmouth came in, but she will not show me her number. There we go. Cassidy Arsamont. Pensacola gets a deflection and it winds up in the back of the net. Once again in that scrum, I'm not sure who scored it. If you scored it, raise your hand and show me your number. See, nobody wants to admit it.
Go Rangers!
So with 15 gone, Pensacola's up by 2. But that's all right. That's not insurmountable. Megan Snyder with some great defense right then. It's a corner kick for Pensacola. Oh, nice header again. Finds the deflection, goes right in. Was that Hannah Godfrey? If it was Hannah Godfrey, nice shot. Saskia Adrians with some great defensive play down there. Going to be a corner for Pensacola. Ranger defense holds strong. It's going to be a goal kick. Barbie Pittman takes a shot. A little high, but that's all right. It's a shot. Goal kick. Goal kick, but that's Destiny Hammock down there working really hard for the Rangers. Alex Thomas, I believe, made that shot, just right in the side net. Great cross.
All right, Rangers, here we go.
nice header, just wide though. It's going to be a goal kick for the Rangers.
Get up there.
And Apollo Sylvia Santos checks out. Jessica Quixley comes in. That's going to be a little far. Ella Hunkin with the easy save. Saskia Adrians checks out. Looks like Taylor Cooks came out as well. Cooks. Courtney Schultz checks in for the Rangers. That's going to cross the line and be a goal kick.
It's going to be an offsides call on the far side over there.
like it crossed the end line, so it's going to be a goal kick for the Rangers.
The Rangers goal kick. Now Rangers have a free kick. They've pressed up 3 Rangers players. They're playing 3 against 6. Game is getting physical. I'm really glad to see that after last week, Rangers haven't last week didn't seal the deal and make them quit. It looks like they came out hungry. They're not afraid to play physical, not afraid to be a little scrappy. So it's good to see that they're not laying down. Here's another foul against Pensacola. Player in the back. Another free kick for Rangers.
We are live in Fairhope, Alabama, home of the Gulf Coast Rangers first teams, the Gulf Coast Rangers Football Club. They have a first team men's side that plays in the Gulf Coast Premier League, the GCPL. This is the Gulf Coast Rangers Football Club ladies team that plays in the WPSL, and we are here in Volanta Stadium in Fairhope, Alabama on June 1st, 2019, with a match between the Gulf Coast Rangers Football Club and Pensacola FC. And we are here underway in the first half. Pensacola is leading 4-0. Gulf Coast Rangers here on GCRFC TV are trying to find a way to at least try to get a goal back before halftime, and are putting in the work and trying to find a way back into the game. It definitely seen some improvements. I think it's safe to say, looking as we kind of head towards the final bit here of the first half from last week, even though the score line may not indicate that. More solid in midfield, more solid in the way that they're trying to play. It seems like they're a little bit more cohesive, connecting together. Still some mistakes though, and whereas last week there was no closing down and some long strikes, especially there in the second half. Here tonight in the first half, it's been more mistakes off of some free kicks, run of play, not looking, not checking shoulders, not communicating, not marking in the box, and those mistakes are costing you. There was a penalty kick earlier here in the half. Now that was saved, later led to a goal, which is part of that 4-0. So, looking at this, I definitely think if you watch this, you're going to think, okay, hey, they looked a little bit better. One of the things I think that the youth on this squad, and there are youth team members from the youth academies, are definitely, got some lessons to learn in terms of making sure you're getting firm pass in, that you're getting a nod or communication to a teammate. Those kind of lessons, when you're playing against higher level competition, the game plays at a much faster speed and tempo, and you've got to adjust to that. And last week, even though the scoreline this week looks similar to last week. Last week, they really seemed to struggle with the pace of play. Tonight, I wouldn't say that it's pace of play that's bothered them as much as it's just some mistakes, some communication errors that's really hurt them.
Right. And, you got to look at goals from the run of play. Gave up a goal on the corner. Gave up a goal off of a handball. It's 4-0. 4-0. Referee, if he calls that handball, that's that goal doesn't get scored. It's 3-0. If you'd have told me last week that after playing Pensacola Academy that it would be 3-4 goals at half here, I would have taken, especially off of things like corners, with limited practice time throughout the week. I know sometimes things like set piece defense, corner defense, gets kind of neglected. Also, you got to remember there was a formational personnel change with Avery Howell going to center back and for Kate Baggett. So zonal marking responsibilities, things like that may have come into play. Just some confusion, things like that. But it will be interesting to see going forward how once they weather this first storm, how they settle in and defend from here.
So we have another corner kick here for Pensacola, leading 4-0. And as we wind down towards the end of the first half, substitution for Pensacola on this corner kick. Here's the kick. Let's see if the Rangers ladies marking a little bit better, saved out to the top and recycled from the back for Pensacola. And out for a goal kick. 4-0 here in Fairhope, Alabama. Gulf Coast Rangers Football Club, the ladies team, hosting the Pensacola FC ladies team. I am Daniel Workman coming to you live from Volanta Stadium in Fairhope, Alabama, along with Jeff Moody. And, just to give you a little heads up, coming up on Wednesday, June the 5th, we will be back here live for the next Gulf Coast Rangers Football Club match. The men's team will be playing here at Volanta Stadium on June the 5th at 7 p.m. I believe that is against Port City FC out of Gulfport, Biloxi area, as the kick goes out for another goal kick for the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies. So we will be back here on Wednesday, June the 5th, 7 p.m. kickoff time for the next home match for the Rangers men's team who plays in the Gulf Coast Premier League. As we wind up here in this first half, ball played forward, and when you're kind of sitting as kind of that lone striker, you're going to have to try to settle ball, not flick and play on, and losing that possession. Now you're giving Pensacola the opportunity to get it and run again. And here's another, and it's into the side net for a goal kick. Almost number 5. Able to withstand it as we see another set of substitutions. Gulf Coast Rangers making one more sub before the half, as well as 2 substitutions for Pensacola FC as well. 4-0 here in Fairhope, Alabama, as we're waiting on these substitutions to come in for the restart of play. The Gulf Coast Rangers are playing left to right. Here's the keeper with a kick. The referee has whistled play to stop for just a moment. It is out for a corner kick for Pensacola. Looks like a Rangers player was shaken up a bit, but she's back on her feet and joining the play again here in the box for this corner kick as Pensacola takes it into the box, down and through. No one there on the other end as the Rangers ladies are working to win possession and get it back. and it is out for a corner kick for Pensacola FC here on the left side of the field. Jeff, what are you seeing here when Pensacola sets up for a corner kick? Are you in terms of the way they're trying to attack it, as well as the way the Rangers are defending it?
Well, it looks like Pensacola's playing everything to the back post. They do have the one player posted up on the keeper to try to interfere, rattle with her a little bit. They don't have a player in front of the front post, but they do have a player making a front post run. And then they have the back post player who just scored the goal.
So we take the front post and we watch the back post and we watch another goal. It is 5-0 now. Pensacola FC ladies over the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies. Here in the first half in Fairhope, Alabama, as Pensacola lead 5-0, getting ready to come to the end here of the first half as Pensacola makes another substitution here towards the end of the first half. Got about 5 minutes or so left and some stoppage time here in the first half. It looks like tonight that the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies have opted to change their formation a little bit. Last week, they were trying to play a true 4-3-3 with a 6 sitting in front of 2 center backs. Tonight, it seems like they're playing more of a 4-2-3-1 formation with 2 holding midfielders or defensive midfielders, as 21 there gets a nice little nutmeg on the Rangers ladies player. So tonight, looks like the Gulf Coast Rangers, to kind of settle things down in midfield, opted to kind of rotate that midfield triangle from a 6 with an 8 and 10 further down the field to having the 6 and the 8 set up next to each other and drop the 2 wingers that were playing last week as forwards more into that second line or the line of 3 in a 4-2-3-1 and leaving a lone striker up top. And, it's definitely helped the midfield. It has hurt the ability of the Gulf Coast Rangers to sustain any kind of attack up top, because when they do try to find that outlet, she's isolated. Whoever's up there has been isolated. And earlier in the game, Ty Malloy, as we noted, she was playing with a leg injury, very, very slow. Don't know if we'll see her in the second half. It was heavily wrapped there on her left leg, and she was struggling to get around. Since that substitution, that forward has been able to get around and move, but she's been so much on an island that she's found it very difficult playing against this Pensacola FC defense, as they are typically playing a 3. It looks like more of a 3-4-3 with the diamond 4 in the middle of the pitch, and she's by herself, and everyone else is back on the ball. So when you're in that kind of situation where you are isolated, what do you tell your striker, your forward, when the ball's coming to her? What kind of instructions are you giving her to try to help the team?
Well, you want her to move laterally, kind of get off the shoulders of those center backs, make maybe stretch the center backs, move one side of the circle or the other. Try to shift that back 3 around to where you are, especially if you've got a winger with some speed. If you move right, play that player up the left wing. One of the things too that Rangers do well with this roster, the forward they have tonight is Hammock, Rangers number 22, Destiny Hammock. She's a high school kid playing against 2 college center backs. So, when you look at, really even club philosophy, I know that the Pensacola has the academy which would be mostly where their high school kids would play. But the fact that you have high school players out here playing against college kids is pretty impressive. What they're able to do, and finally, it'll be interesting to see what happens when we don't play somebody named Pensacola, and maybe they're
True that.
Maybe the rosters will be a little bit more equal, and these girls can play. I coach locally. I've seen most of these girls play at their high schools, and they are all phenomenal players. Good high school players aren't supposed to be able to play with good college players. And, this Pensacola roster has girls from Colorado, LSU, Florida State, William Carey, West Florida, South Alabama. So, I mean, these are college kids that are playing to keep in shape for the summer against, high school players or recent high school graduates. So, I mean, kudos to Rangers for having that be their philosophy, where they're going to get out and they're going to play with the young player, really work on development. Putting them in situations to see how they do. In the long run, it would be nice to see what this Rangers team could do in, a couple of years once these girls get some college experience. So we'll just have to stick around and see how that plays out. Destiny Hammock makes a run inside the 18 here. High school junior. Works a shot on goal. Created there. We were talking about her up there playing by herself, isolated. She was able to use her feet, work the ball, get around the defender there. So, they're all capable players. It's just when you're playing as a unit against the Division I, Division II college players, it makes it much more difficult when you're a 7A, 6A high school player here in Alabama.
Certainly so, and that is one thing to note as a defender there knocks the ball out for a another Pensacola FC corner as we come here near the close of the first half. The young players that are playing for the Gulf Coast Rangers, this is a development time for them. You're seeing what it's like to play against, ladies who are playing at a high level around the country as the ball is knocked out for another Pensacola FC corner kick. You're playing against high level talent, high level competition. And as Pensacola appears to be offside, and we are at half. So we will pick back up on that thought about the youth and the development and that process and program with the Gulf Coast Rangers after we come back from halftime. Going to half here, it is 5-0. We are at Valanta Stadium in Fairhope, Alabama. As the Gulf Coast Rangers Football Club ladies team is hosting tonight the Pensacola FC ladies first team, and we will be back after the halftime break here in Fairhope, Alabama. Stay tuned. We will see everyone then. Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies team hosting the Pensacola FC ladies first team. We are coming to you live from Fairhope, Alabama, and we are kicking off here in the second half. And
Tyler Ray Malloy is back up top.
No wrap on her legs.
Moving much better.
Yeah, it seems to be moving better. I don't know how well she's gonna get around. She's still hobbling, but she's trying to give it a go. Rangers are going right to left, Pensacola left to right. Here as we start off the second half, and the ladies of the Gulf Coast Rangers Football Club are trailing 5-0 as we start here in the second half to Pensacola FC. Last week, home opener against Pensacola FC's academy or reserve team. This week, that was primarily a U19 team. This is their first team. They have college players from all over the country, talent loaded. You can see it on the field. Really good players, and the Gulf Coast Rangers, even though they're down in the game 5-0, have played better tonight. But they're playing a tougher competition tonight as well, and so it's a steep uphill climb here as they kick off their second half against the Pensacola FC ladies team here in Fairhope, Alabama, as Pensacola plays left to right. And here's the shot from distance, moving away from the goalkeeper and from the goal, out for a goal kick as we get started here in the second half. Jeff, halftime adjustments for both teams. What do you think Coach Flores and his staff are talking about with the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies?
Well, I think they're going to look for ways to move the ball forward. You see that when they took Destiny Hammock out, the high school player, and brought back in the more experienced Tyler. Positionally, looks like they've brought in number 10, Megan Snyder at center back, working alongside with Avery Howell. Kate Baggett's still out, so you have to wonder the nature of her injury. Let's see. Avery clears the ball off there. The back four seems to be working well together tonight. Like we've talked about, some of the issues seem to be being able to get the ball forward. Let's see if having Tyler back out there, the more experienced player, maybe she can create some things for herself that using her seasoned veteran skills as opposed to a high school player.
For sure. What do you think Pensacola we're talking about at half? You're up 5-0. Any adjustments you think they're looking to make as they start the second half?
I would think as far as pride goes, they probably want to try to score more than their academy did last week. I would think that would be a start. They're going to want to do, as the staff of Pensacola, these games are kind of trap games. You can fall in and get complacent. Pensacola's schedule is going to improve, especially as they push into the playoffs, working nationally. Looking for big things nationally. You don't want to get complacent, knowing the skill level of Rangers. So he's gonna want to make sure that they continue to play, focus on the things that have got them here. Right there, you see the pressure forces a Rangers ladies turnover.
Definitely, but you did see some nice footwork there from the young goalkeeper for the Gulf Coast Rangers, even if it was a bit brave. It's nice to see, willingness to take risk and seeing it out there for a goal kick for the Gulf Coast Rangers. So we're here kicking off in the second half, about 5 minutes in, and Pensacola still leading 5-0. One of the things that I wish I would see more, and I don't see it enough, is when you're talking about being a possession style team, and yet always taking long goal kicks. And that's not to say if you're a possession based team you never take long goal kicks, but the idea that you're not working on playing out of the back, keeping possession, because when you send that ball forward, it's really becomes a game of chance whether your player is going to bring it down or the other team's going to win it, versus having a systematic methodology of how to distribute from the back, keep composure, keep possession, connect to one another. It's not that either of these teams lack for technical ability, and it's more of a methodology. So, going forward, I think it would be something that the goalkeeper for the Gulf Coast Rangers, she showed just a moment ago that she's got the foot skill to play out of the back. I wish the team would look to do that as well. I think it would help them as they're trying to keep possession, keep composure, calm the game down a little bit, rather than just serving up a long goal kick each and every time they're setting up for a goal kick.
Right, and I think too, some of it's knowing your opponent. I'm not necessarily opposed to a goal kick that's dumped. Especially given the pressure that Pensacola's putting on. Number 9 right there in the middle for Pensacola is Alex Thomas. He plays at LSU, in the SEC. Strong program. So, with this back four, mainly high school kids, I think sometimes moving the ball away from the most dangerous threat probably wise. So, I think if all things were equal, you definitely want to see them try to play out of the back. But, sometimes you want to get the ball as far away from the dangerous players you can.
As you see Saskia there making that deep run to pressure the goalkeeper, leading by example. That's, an area last week we saw with both Malloy and Saskia as well. Ty and Saskia both senior players here on the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies team, leading by example, showing them, about effort and staying focused, doing the job, and competing for your teammates, etc. That's something I talk about with players I've coached in the past. I talk about this with my own kids. It's the idea of effort. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but you got to have effort and give that effort. And, you're not going to be the best player or do the best things for your team without effort. And so it goes a long way. And so when you are a young player, and this is kind of where we left off going into halftime, and you're coming up against some experienced players that like Pensacola have here with their first team, this is a moment where you can learn and learn from experience and see what it means to give effort, and what it means to play at a higher tempo, higher pace. And that tempo and pace is not about speed from the standpoint of running, physical running, as much as it's speed of play. Maybe how fast the ball's moving, how fast you have to process what you're seeing, because the game is moving much faster. And that's an element to me that is often overlooked with youth development, is pace of play, speed of play, cleanliness of first touch. All of those things factor in of pace of play. If Pensacola FC have another corner kick and the ball's loose in the box,
great save by the keeper there. Well done. About just a wad of bodies there in front of goal. Ball was able to get through. Keeper Ella Hunkin was able to scramble down, get into that front post and play the ball away.
Great save. Gives Rangers the opportunity to play out, and here with a throw, down the line. And you really see that leg injury causing some issues, but Ty refusing to give up on the play and is able to work back to that topic effort we were just discussing. That effort, even on a bad leg, gives her team a corner kick for the Gulf Coast Rangers. And believe Saskia is the player that will be taking that kick.
One of the things you really look at, too, looking at Pensacola as they set up to defend this corner, they have number 4, Celine Rumpf. She has played in the Bundesliga 2 women for Frankfurt. You don't really realize how tall she is until you see her up against the Rangers ladies. She has that front post on lock, and as they're able to clear it out. But, again, effort, nice little back heel there. Played out, lost an opportunity there. Looks like her shoe came off. But number 4 for Pensacola, a German with professional experience, again, working against, we've talked about in depth the makeup of Rangers roster. So pretty cool experience for the girls to be able to, play. Here's a nice little combination play between Tyler. Worked the ball. Tyler didn't finish the run, but we will pressure the keeper here.
Well, I think that's one of those miscommunication where the left winger here, or the person out on the left wing, number 16 for the Gulf Coast Rangers, played the ball down the left side, expecting a diagonal run, and Ty Malloy was making a penetrating run through the center. Just got their lines communication there mixed up a little bit, but it appears coming in here to the second half that the Gulf Coast Rangers are playing a little bit more with Saskia and Malloy on the field, a little bit more of a 4-1-4-1 here in the second half, a little bit more defined, whereas as the first half went on, they had kind of settled and dropped into more of a 4-2-3-1. It appears now they've definitely got a holding defensive midfielder in front of the 2 center backs, and then a line of 4 with Malloy up top as the lone striker. That has given them a little bit more ability to create some pressure here in the midfield. It's also given them an opportunity to be able to find in Spanish soccer, often called a third line pass, the ability to find that penetrating pass that can break multiple lines, and has been able to do so to get it down the field and connect to their striker Malloy or one of their attacking midfielders. And so, looking at how this second half is shaping up right now, Pensacola is starting to make a few uncharacteristic errors around the field. I think that's coming because the Rangers ladies are creating some more pressure, whether that's on the sideline or, in the center of the pitch. But, those are good adjustments that we're seeing coming here into the second half so far as we see a turnover, and the Pensacola ladies plays a nice ball.
So one-on-one with the keeper here. Let's see. Lays it off there. Oh, great save by the keeper.
Great save by the goalkeeper.
Knocked it down with her chest. They're able to keep it out. Let's see. Not allowing the Pensacola player to turn. They play it back out wide. Number 21 makes an inside run, pulls the defender with her. All right, great sequence there by the Rangers defensively, able to obviously keep out what looked like a 1v1 situation with the keeper and probably a sure goal. So much improved from last week.
Last week that would have been a goal. I mean, let's just call it what it was. That would have been a goal, and this week there was some adjustment and a save. And just like that, the defender let the attacker get across the face, and she slides across for a nice header off of the throw-in and across the box, and the goalkeeper unable to save it in the bottom corner as Pensacola scores again for their 6th goal of the game, leading now 6-0 as we get ready to kick off after the goal. These Rangers ladies, the lesson they've got to learn tonight from tonight's match. Last week was there was a lot of issues as Pensacola's in on goal again. Goalkeeper's out to save and keeps the angle and forces the errant shot out for a goal kick. That could have easily been 7-0.
Great job by the keeper there, too. Knowing she was in no man's land, she put herself in a bad position, but she stuck with it. She didn't try to fall back into her line. Kept working her arc, even though it was a lot higher. Forced that shot to go wide. Great job by the keeper there, correcting her own error.
Certainly. I think the lesson for tonight is, if you look at these goals, it's you have to stay focused the whole time. You can't turn the switch off. The moment you lose concentration, you break concentration, you break your focus, you're going to open yourself up to a mistake. And most of these 6 goals were not a situation of just getting outplayed as much as it was a situation of lack of focus.
Oh,
and
keeper error there.
Keeper error for sure. That should have been saved. Probably one of the easiest saves of the night, and spills it right into the goal for 7-0 now here in the second half, as the Pensacola FC ladies team are working their way towards topping their reserve team last week, who were able to pull out a 9-0 victory. The first team are leading now 7-0. We are early here in the first half, in the second half. As we were talking about focus and concentration, there was another moment where all you got to do is focus, concentrate, and you have those little mental mistakes. That this is a situation where you're playing against a really good team with the really talented players. You can't switch off. You've got to stay engaged. Your brain has got to stay activated in the task at hand, your position on the field, your duties, your responsibilities, you're connecting with your teammates, covering for your teammates, etc. As Pensacola here are attacking down the Rangers' right flank and recycling back to their center back, who as I stated earlier, seems to be employing a 3-back system tonight in a diamond midfield with 3 up top. And as that kick goes long and back to the Rangers goalkeeper. So, looking at the lessons here, that to me is the big lesson. It's yes, are some of these girls, older, more experienced, etc. Yes. But the lesson in playing a team like that is to realize that you cannot switch off. You've got to stay switched on at all times, as Pensacola FC here early in the second half are making a switch at goalkeeper.
They took out the University of Colorado's goalkeeper and brought in LSU's goalkeeper. So that just, to give you an idea of the depth, they have an SEC goalkeeper as their backup. Again, Pensacola, they have they're a national WPSL power. Rangers have done well. It's odd to say that they've done well in the 7-0 game. The series is the way Rangers have played. They have played well. Just little mental let ups. Now, obviously, 7-0 isn't what you want to see, but little mental mistakes, little mental errors.
And there's another one.
Right. The defenders down there trying to shield the ball off. The Pensacola attackers able to keep it in, play a pass across. I'm sure the Rangers ladies thought that ball was out or was going to go out. They play it across all the way back across the face of goal, and number 9, Alex Thomas from LSU is able to bury the goal.
On the most dangerous pass in all of football, soccer as we call it here in America, the diagonal back pass. It's so hard to defend, more than a cross, more than a penetrating pass. Just the line of sight with the defense, it is the most dangerous and toughest pass in attack, especially to defend. And whenever the Rangers player made the mistake at the end line, thinking that they were going to be able to see the ball out, the Pensacola player was able to keep it in, find that diagonal back pass, get her head up, and then it's nearly impossible for the goalkeeper at that point to adjust and make a save. And you see it. Barcelona were famous for this under Pep Guardiola. When you had Xavi and Iniesta playing along with Carlos Puyol, and you had Victor Valdez, that whole era of Barcelona were really good at working the balls into those spaces at the edge of the 18-yard box and find those passes back to a Messi or David Villa, etc., that were up top making runs, Thierry Henry, etc. And Pensacola found that moment to be able to do that as well. As Pensacola makes 2 substitutions here on this goal kick, and it's one of those things where you've got to keep your mind in tune with what's going on and realize that the intensity and the speed of play is it's higher and faster than a high school soccer game or a high school aged soccer game, as we see a kick out wide and just too far for Saskia to get on the other end of it. But that is a lesson. And the only way you can learn it is to play in it. You cannot simulate that and hope that you can just figure it out. You have to train regularly with this kind of intensity, this kind of pace, this kind of requirement to stay locked in order to be able to do that for 90 minutes.
Right. And all that'll come. Right now, this, what they're learning, the experience, the exposure is not going to help Rangers necessarily. But, in this game, going forward, again, we kind of joked about it earlier. Tyler Malloy is limping again after going down on that foul. Not that foul, going down on that play. She and the defender from Pensacola got tied up. She's up limping. They've already subbed her off.
I think that's her night. She gave a valiant effort, worked really hard for the team. She's definitely wanting to be a leader and set an example, and she was able to do that tonight. Just unable to last with that leg injury, and having to get subbed off here as Pensacola looking to clear the ball up top, and Rangers able to bring the ball down, but a little hopeful there on that pass forward. And saved by the LSU goalkeeper, as you noted, subbing in for the Colorado goalkeeper just a few minutes ago. Rangers attacking right to left, Pensacola left to right here in Fairhope, Alabama, as the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies are hosting the Pensacola FC ladies. It is 8-0 here midway through the second half, and scoreline they didn't want to see repeated after last week's 9-0 season opener, home opener defeat to the Pensacola FC Academy, the reserve team, second team. And
you see right there, number 10. She was the player earlier on the goal that was trying to shield it out. Just went ahead and got rid of it. The only sure thing is a ball out of bounds out for a restart. It is a Pensacola throw. She didn't, she learned her lesson from last time. Didn't try to play with it. Didn't try to shield it out. Just cleared the danger. Nice little touch there by Destiny Hammock. On a run, she's playing up as forward. Another nice little run of play there. Good technical work by the Rangers player, but out off of deflection for a Pensacola throw.
Ball thrown down the line. There's another little learning moment there, number 10. Little nonchalant coming over to try to seal that ball out. Should have been able to been seen out for a Rangers throw, but because she kind of jogged over rather than, realizing the intensity and speed of play, that Pensacola player was able to knock it out for a Rangers throw. For a Pensacola FC ladies throw. And those are the lessons. You're not gonna fix it all in one night. You're not gonna fix it in the moment very well. But those are moments where you're gonna have to look back and see, hey, here's what I learned tonight. Here's what I saw tonight. Here's what I gotta fix. What I gotta get better at tonight. And she'll be able to see that. And I think several of the players here are going to be able to see that. From last week to this week, we saw some improvement this week, the same as well, as the Pensacola's attacking left to right here. Number 3 on the ball, cuts in on her left foot, takes a shot over the goalkeeper, in for the 9th goal of the night. That was actually a nice little play as she did a nice little fake shot on her right foot, put it back on her left, beat the goalkeeper over her head. Not sure whether she could have reached that or not. She definitely a little aggravated that she didn't get more on that save, but nevertheless, Pensacola now leading 9-0 here in the second half. They have equaled their academy team's scoreline, their U19 squad from last week, score 9-0. We still have about 20-25 minutes left here in the second half as that ball is deflected and the goalkeeper out to collect, and we'll be able to settle that down and retake possession for the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies. 9-0. Different game than last week, different competition level from last week. Seeing what we saw last week, seeing what we've seen this game tonight, we have noted the fact that the team has played better. The issue tonight, that goal withstanding, has been mental mistakes, just staying present, staying focused, staying locked in. That was a nice moment there from that Pensacola FC player who, had that fake shot on her right out to the left as Pensacola gets the possession back. Number 10 cutting into the box, turns, lays it back to 3 again, who misses the shot this time. It does spray low back to the Pensacola player who takes a shot and out for a corner kick. That's the lesson to me. Last week we got to fix the midfield. You got to see the defense do a better job of communicating. Tonight, that's been better, although still got some issues there, got to fix in terms of communication. But the big issue tonight has been staying mentally focused for the whole 90 minutes as the Rangers are going to make a substitution before the corner kick. So, looking at this, looking at what we've seen tonight so far, 9-0, I certainly think we're going to be hitting double digits the way this is going. The Rangers ladies are not hanging their head. They're still fighting. They're still playing, and that's what you want to see. You learn, get better, you got more lessons to take away from tonight.
I think the biggest thing, and I say this half jokingly, is Rangers ladies need to play somebody not named Pensacola FC. It'll be interesting to see as they go and play Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge's roster is similar to Rangers as far as players and skill level, things like that. So this is not how you want to start the season if you're Rangers. I'm sure when Coach Flores saw the schedule and saw Pensacola, That's not necessarily what you want to see, but it is a you got to play who's in front of you, and these two are out of the way early.
Well, it's not only 2 losses, so you get no points out of the first 2 matches, but your goal difference is going to be a mountain.
Minus 18.
Minus 18 at this point, as we see Saskia sub off. Her night is finished as well. We have two Rangers substitutions, 3 Pensacola substitutions, as we are winding down here in the second half. Pensacola leading this match 9-0. Free kick for the Rangers, taken into the box, headed out. Pensacola heads the ball, and it's going to be a free kick for Rangers right off the top of the box, probably from about 30 yards out. And number 10 is getting over the ball for the Rangers, lining up this kick as the referee is walking off the 10 yards for Pensacola to be able to set up for a wall. You've got 2 Rangers back for this kick. Let's see. Does she choose to take the shot, or does she look to pass it in? And she looks to take the shot. And if this was American football, she might have her a 3-point field goal. In soccer, it didn't help at all, as it goes up and over the crossbar and through the American football field goal post here at Valanta Stadium in Fairhope, Alabama. Pensacola restarting play, trying to play now out of the back, looking to play it forward to number 10, who lets the ball run. But this is a situation where the Rangers player has got to be able to come across, and the Rangers are able to clear and get the ball out. That's a moment right there that we were talking about a few minutes ago. That you can't play that lazily. You've got to stay locked in, and she did, and was able to see that ball out across her back line and recycled out the other side and away from danger. And there's multiple ways to handle that. In the English game, it's often celebrated when an outside back or a center back will just kick it out of bounds for a throw. I prefer the Spanish culture, Spanish mentality of let's try to keep possession and keep it in the field of play and find a way out, and only use that as an absolute last resort. She was able to do that, find her way out, which was good, and Rangers are now able to get back on the ball with another throw here on their left side, coming down the right side of the Pensacola defense. Played back to the center back. Got a nice little combination of possession here. Little 1-2 combination passes coming down the right side. Can we get across into the box? Ball is chopped down. Pressure again from the front. Pensacola's trying to get out and turn, and unable to keep it in play. But that was a nice little moment there. Nothing resulted in the end of a cross into the box, but that's progress. Combination play. If they go back and watch this on film, I think that's going to be a moment that they go, hey, this right here, this section right here towards the end of the game, connected some passes, kept possession, kept our composure. Let's just do that more and connect more. When we play this way, good things happen. And like you said, we don't have to go and play Pensacola again next week.
Right. I think one of the things here too, Rangers have settled back into a 4-2-3-1, kind of protecting that midfield with the, you could play double sixes in front of the back four, but Coach Flores is kind of in a weird spot. If you come out and commit more to the attack, you leave yourself more exposed in the back. It's a kind of a poor man's blanket. You can either cover your head or cover your feet. I know Rangers ladies want to get that goal, but it's almost a situation where if you commit more to the attack, you're going to leave yourself vulnerable in the back and probably concede more. We've talked about it. You've talked about it. this game doesn't feel like last week's game. Maybe because it's not 10,000 degrees, but they are doing things better against a far superior opponent when you just look at rosters. So a lot of good things you can take away from this. I can't see the scoreboard, so it's I think it looks good, but
well, don't look at the stream scoreboard because it's the same as the scoreboard here in the stadium. It's 9-0 as we head towards the final 10 minutes here of the match. Pensacola off the goal kick is attacking again, cutting in. Number 7 with a shot over the crossbar, but a nice attempt there as she cut in back onto her right foot to take that shot. And that's really an example of what we're talking about. That moment, we're not seeing that from the Rangers ladies players yet.
Right.
We just talked about a moment where they had some nice combination play, but that kind of, ability to break down a defense, by a player like that is just, it's not happening for the Rangers, where Pensacola have got several who are able to get that ball in and around the 18-yard box and not just connect to one another, but take a chance like that and do some nice things. So, lessons to be learned for sure, but you also do have to acknowledge, like you said, that the roster inequity, and it is an inequity. You can see it watching the match, and the scoreline is not the only place that you can see it. You can see it just watching the match, and the eyeball test. It is an area where I think the Rangers and their program, as well as this team, got to look to find ways to get themselves into some more dangerous attacking places on the field and moments on the field, so that they can have some more success this season.
And I think that'll come. Once you get away from playing Pensacola, which is again, we've talked about, they're a national.
Here is Pensacola's offside on that diagonal cross. Continue, Jeff.
I'm not quite sure she was off, but Pensacola has built a national power there. David Kemp and Dino have done a great job putting their team in a position to compete nationally. I think we should probably reserve judgment on Rangers until we see them play maybe against a Baton Rouge or some of the other teams on their schedule that aren't necessarily geared up and built. I mean, Pensacola, Florida has a keeper from Boulder, Colorado playing for them. So, I come for the beaches, stay for the soccer, but I'm not sure that that level of attraction, LSU, Florida State, those type of players, I don't know that our girls, Rangers ladies, will see those again. And nice ball here.
Nice ball
see
over
if
the
we
top.
can get a flick. Oh,
doesn't make a play on the ball. Contact in the box. Out for a Rangers ladies throw. I don't know why that is not a penalty. Questionable call there. Again, no VAR here in the WPSL or the GCPL that the men's team plays in. So no ability to go back and review. Certainly a questionable call. And at 9-0, you if you're the Rangers, you're certainly hoping to get that call to try to get an opportunity to get your first goal of the season, as Pensacola's wasted no time getting back for another shot and wide of the mark. But that's a great case in point here. The Rangers work really, really hard to get back down the field, get a chance. They don't get the penalty. Pensacola comes right back, trying to get that 10th goal and really show up their academy team as they make two more substitutions here in the second half, with Pensacola FC leading the Gulf Coast Rangers 9-0 as we are here in the last 10 minutes of the match. And Pensacola getting that, taking that goal kick and trying to keep possession here as the Rangers player is unable to see it out for a Rangers throw. And unhappy with the call, throws the ball away in frustration. Appears to be no card, and just a simple throw for Pensacola, who have gotten the ball back into play, and out for a goal kick for the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies. I will tell you this, Jeff. Looking at this game and looking at the flow of this game, I hope going forward for the ladies. Not having to play Pensacola here anymore for the season, that we don't have to say out for a goal kick yet again for the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies team. That's usually not a good sign when your goalkeeper's having to take a lot of goal kicks. Just means that there's a lot of chances in and around the box for your opponent. Pensacola here trying to settle the ball down as they are playing the ball back to their center back and back into midfield and out wide to their left back, wing back in this 3-4-3 that they've been employing tonight. And it has caused all kinds of issues for the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies. A different look than we saw last week, where the academy team played more in a 4-3-3 setup, a traditional 4-3-3 with a lone holding midfielder in front of your two center backs. Tonight, the Pensacola FC first team for their ladies program have been playing more in a 3-4-3 with more of a diamond 4 in that 3-4-3 setup, and that has also caused some issues positioning-wise for the Rangers as they have tried a couple different systems, a 4-1-4-1 and a 4-2-3-1 to try to counteract this play from Pensacola. And here a ball kind of played through and unable to be settled by the striker. Pensacola just recycles possession back out wide here to number 3 coming down their right side, the left side of the Rangers defense. And unable to find the connection on the pass. It's out for a Pensacola throw, who gets it in really quickly as they are working here on this left side of the Rangers defense, trying to find a way out and unable to do so.
One of the things
switched over to the left-hand side. Yeah, Jeff.
One of the things Rangers back four did real well right there is they had everything covered up. They'd stepped on all their passing lanes. Avery Howells at center back, the outside back had tucked in, not played as narrow, and basically they were on every passing line Pensacola had there. It caused some frustration. Here we are, another nice move by the defender to step in front of that. Number 2 for Pensacola is working really, really hard. Her stride, she has a short stride when she runs, real quick on the ball.
Pensacola gets it into the box, trying to find that diagonal back pass that we talked about a few minutes ago, and unable to do so at the moment, and drops it back wide. And here's the cross into the box. 28 tries to hit it on the volley, unable to connect. But pressure here from Pensacola. 3 trying to create pressure and is able to at least keep enough pressure for her to make an errant pass to the Pensacola defender, who restarts the attack back down the Pensacola right flank, the left side of the defense for the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies, keeping possession, keeping their ability to poke and prod at this Rangers defense as the Rangers are able to knock it out for a throw as we are in the last 5 minutes here of the match. In for the throw, and Pensacola has the ball. She's looking to make the cross, and an errant cross out for yet another what, Jeff?
Goal kick Rangers.
Goal kick Rangers. Here in the final 5 minutes of the second match of the WPSL season for the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies, as they are hosting the Pensacola FC ladies first team out of Pensacola, Florida. We are coming to you live on GCRFC TV here in Fairhope, Alabama at Volanta Stadium as we wind up this second home match of the WPSL season for the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies first team. And
good bit of pressure here by Madison Hager. Madison is another high school player. She plays at Saraland High School in Mobile County. Forced the turn. All right.
Goalkeeper coming out for the save is able to gather the ball before the Pensacola player, number 2, was able to get a touch on the ball and save it and keep herself in the box. So, restart of play, got a goal kick, brought down by number 2 of the Rangers and then passed to no one. And that's the story there. That's, you've got to have a name to your pass. Otherwise, you're likely going to send it either out of bounds or to the other team. And Pensacola wastes no time in trying to get that ball back down the field into the attacking zone in and around the 18-yard box to try to find that 10th goal. You can definitely tell that they are not letting up. They are continuing to try to bring pressure and find a way to get that 10th goal. I'm sure there's some bragging rights in the squad. As she lays in a nice pass to number 2.
There it is.
And there is the 10th goal. And that was a nice combination play. Nice through ball, nice pass there from Pensacola as number 2's been working really hard in the second half. You noted it a few minutes ago. She gets rewarded with a nice pass in the channel and able to bring it in and get it slotted underneath the goalkeeper for the 10th goal of the game for Pensacola. And now the Pensacola FC ladies first team is able to go into training this week and have a little bit of some bragging rights, where I think that that reserve team might have had some things to say had they not been able to at least match or top their score. As we finish this game 10-0 in favor of Pensacola FC ladies over the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies first team here in Fairhope, Alabama, Volanta Stadium, the home of the Gulf Coast Rangers first teams. Gulf Coast Rangers have a men's team in the Gulf Coast Premier League and a women's team in the WPSL. Our next home match and GCRFC TV broadcast is coming up on Wednesday, June the 5th, here at Volanta Stadium, where the Gulf Coast Rangers men's team will be hosting Port City, I believe, in the GCPL. And that match will kick off at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks for joining us. Jeff, you got any final thoughts as we wrap up the broadcast and wrap up the night tonight?
I did look up the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies schedule. Next week they are on the road in Baton Rouge. On Saturday in Baton Rouge, and then on Sunday it looks like they are in Pensacola for the Academy. That's back-to-back. Then we have a home doubleheader against the Mississippi Blues on the 21st and Baton Rouge on the 22nd, and then go to Mississippi Blues in Jackson, and then play this Pensacola team again to close the season out July 6th. So next week, Baton Rouge. Let's see how the ladies respond. They are, on 0 points in the table. They are negative 19 in goal difference. Still haven't scored a goal. But again, next week we get to play somebody not named Pensacola. So we'll see how that happens. All right. That's all, Daniel.
Absolutely. Thanks for Jeff Mooney. This is Daniel Workman. We say thank you and good night from Fairhope, Alabama, as the Gulf Coast Rangers ladies fall to Pensacola FC 10-0. We will see everyone back on Wednesday, June 5th for the Gulf Coast Rangers men's team as they take on and host Port City. That's all. We'll see you later.
Mobile 143.